Well, today we're doing Sands of the Sudan, um, and Bill is too lazy to do the talking today, so at least the introduction, I've got to do it. So what we're doing today is the Battle of Abu Kababa. So this is Abu Kababa right here, and this is the English objective for the day. And what they do is they come up the road. They've got to get past this rocky hill. They got to get past this shrubbery area. They got to get past this little field. And they're coming in over here in this little town. And they're already coming on in semi square formation. It's not called a square, it's called an inverse U formation. It's a new British tactic. And then what you have is you've got a Gatling gun, you've got a field gun, you've got Bengals cavalry, you got Bengal cavalry there, you've got a naval brigade, or excuse me, a naval company going with the Gatling gun. You've got 5 companies of British regulars that are forming 1 battalion, and you've got 5 companies of Egyptians forming another battalion. And they've deployed, each of them have deployed 1 unit of their companies as skirmishers to try to trip any ambushes that might pop up. When you go to advance, there's another piece of scrub over here. You're coming up on another rocky ridge. All these types of terrain could be possible ambush sites. And when the British get within a foot of them, I roll to see if anything pops out. Then you've got the Oasis, which is worth 2 points to the British should they take it. You've got a rocky ridge, and then you've got another area of shrub, also a possible ambush site. Oh, and no, not again. Goober? What is Goober doing here, Bill? We're kind of like getting goobered out here, if you know what I'm.
All right. Well, we are on our first turn of deployment, and we have our skirmishers out. We have a 12-foot table to go, and we already have. I am the Egyptian commander again, and on our right flank, we already have Mahdi forces arriving. Pretty intense. We got Kevin.
Yes, sir.
Is advancing. And what is a fuzzy wuzzy, a dervish, and an oasis?
Well, an oasis is a watering hole in the desert. It's where you go to not die.
And what is a fuzzy wuzzy?
A fuzzy wuzzy is an Ansar, a Sudanese warrior who supported in this time period the Mahdi. And Mahdists are other Sudanese who supported the Mahdi. And the Mahdi was a fella who was born in the mid-century and declared himself basically the new Muhammad.
Well, we're going to turn to Mike. And Mike, can you quickly tell me what is a dervish?
Dervish is basically what Kevin just mentioned, except that they're a fanatic.
And they dress differently than the fuzzy wuzzies?
Different. Fuzzy Wuzzies were their own kind of separate tribe, so they dressed different. Mahdi troops tended to have various clothes and patches, and they used patches on their clothing to represent that they supported the Mahdi.
Okay, very good. Well, we have a long ways to go, and Walt is our ever fair GM, our ever fair GM back there. A 12-foot long table, and here we go. Well, breaking into the action really quick, Walt, the ever fair GM, his Mahdi troops have charged my Egyptians. We will see if I hold out and drive them back or if I get overrun. And if I do, Mike, who is our overall commander, will have an issue on his right flank. Our skirmishers are moving up, and this is Sands of the Sudan. Sands of the
Sudan, you got it.
I got it right. Okay. A lot going on in today's game, and
You're not supposed to pre-measure, Mike.
we're not allowed to pre-measure.
You're right.
You're cheating.
Yes, I am. I am.
Well, he's our overall British commander. He's allowed to bend the rules. All right. Well, we're coming right back to my Sudanese, my Egyptian troops. I lost a couple figures, but we drove back the fuzzy wuzzies. and they've been driven back. I held the line, and Mike is proud of me that I did not give up the right flank.
Well,
And of course,
they're still alive.
oh, Kevin, do we have Highlanders in today's game?
Nah.
So says the horse.
Nearly a one. No.
Nearly a one.
All right.
Well, Walt keeps flipping cards and numbers for more and more Fuzzy Wuzzies.
Right along with them.
We got Fuzzy Wuzzies building up on this entire flank
I think it's
where my Egyptian troops are. I have moved up my Egyptians here on this flank. I'm trying to drive them off. Of course, Colonel Handsome, otherwise known as Kevin, he will see if his troops will fire in this game. That's always an exciting thing.
well, with artillery, he's got a chance of at least firing something.
But I formed a skirmish line here, and Mr. Mike Kennedy has formed a skirmish line there.
Didn't fire 'cause we
But,
went in with the cold steel.
The amount of Fuzzy Wuzzies that are ever fair GM, Mr. Walt,
Over here.
they're building up a lot of troops on this flank. And I do not believe this small skirmish line is going to be able to hold. We will see. Kevin, what do you think? Are we going to hold this flank?
Absolutely.
Well, and I know Commander Mike knows that we'll hold no matter what.
Horse.
Okay, so
All right, we're breaking into the action from another angle of the table. Mike is advancing. We have Kevin, our Colonel Handsome, is advancing his Lancers and his Gatling gun, and I guess, is that a mountain howitzer?
Oh, it's a gun.
It's a cannon of some type. And
Him happy.
on our right flank, we have one heck of a lot of Fuzzy Wuzzies building up. But my Egyptian troops have been fighting gallantly in today's battle. And then our ever fair GM, Mr. Walt, has been rolling quite well
You been doing
for.
what?
He's been rolling quite well for Egyptian or for dervishes and fuzzies. We now have dervishes on the hill with muskets, Giselles. So, breaking into the action for just a moment here, and we'll get back to our game, and hopefully we will make it to the village. All right, we're breaking into the action, and Walt's Fuzzy Wuzzies are coming in on my Egyptian skirmishers, hot and heavy. I have to hold the line. And over here, Walt's dervishes have scored some hits on Mike's skirmishers in the, I guess are outcroppings of trees. Kevin, Colonel Handsome's Bengal Lancers are preparing a charge to drive those Mahdi forces that are mounted away. And our square for this entire game has held, or I guess it's the L right now, not quite a square. My Egyptian troops are advancing quite leisurely with no issues. So right now, Walt's only really big attack is right here on this flank on the skirmishers.
The modest charge came up just a little bit short, and the Egyptians shot them all up, and the British skirmishers, have to say. But we don't know if it'll have any effect yet. Well, it won't. There's no effect for fire, is there?
Nope.
Unless you wipe them out.
Okay.
We're breaking into the action. Fuzzy Wuzzies are charging my skirmish line. Kevin's backing me up with his Bengal Lancers. Off to the right flank,
I have a
Kevin's
question
cavalry
before we
here is
put the
trying to
pin
hold
down.
off Mahdi mounted horsemen.
Did
Mike's
fire
main
360
column is
did
doing
they?
fantastic.
30 degrees. So they have
And
to
my
actually move
Egyptian
the,
troops are covering the right flank.
And they can
And-
move 6 if they want to fire.
That's right, up to 6.
And Mike's skirmishers out there are still shooting with against those dervishes with Giselle muskets.
No, now that I'm shooting at them.
So you're down to 7 rounds now?
All right, we
I
just
will
broke
once
into
I
the
finish.
action. We'll come back and see if I hold here or if my skirmish line gets chopped up by the Fuzzy Wuzzies. Fierce warriors that they are. All right, well, we're getting ready for lunch, and Mike, can you let me know what's happened here?
Well, we've got Mahdi's that decided to leave the combat. They didn't like what was happening to them, so they decided to retire to the nearby hill. We've also got combat occurring in the middle of the table, and the Mahdi's actually won that combat.
Derek's defective hussars, yeah.
And as a result, they're staying and fight. We've got a group that decided to go run away towards the village. We've got some others that are shooting, and so far they've been able to fire back at the skirmish line, and they've missed each other. The artillery this time managed to miss. And we've got a small group down here that the Sudanese are going to try and dissuade from getting into the fight.
Very good. And I believe Kevin's running the artillery. Kevin, this is the first time we've used artillery with these rules. How's it doing?
Mixed bag. If you roll well on your variables and your 2 hits, that does wonderfully. It does a lot of casualties, but you
have to hit first.
You have usually less than a 50-50 chance of hitting. So,
well, and our objective is that village. And fellas, what do you think? We're 4 feet away, 3 feet.
We're an eternity away from that town.
Kevin says we're a long ways away. I'm being very Pollyannish about it.
Just finished turn 8.
That's 6 inches a turn. Yeah, we're 2 days away from
We'll be here till midnight. All right. You guys want to say anything else before we go off upstairs for lunch?
Great set of rules. Haven't even read them yet, but don't have them yet. But they're hard to get a hold of.
All right. And the rules are, once again,
the Sands of Sudan.
The Sands of Sudan. And Mike, I had a lot of people ask, where can you buy these?
I have been told, I don't know this for any reliable sources, but I have been told you can get them from Cavalier Books.
Cavalier Books, everyone.
And on Military Matters. I ordered mine from On Military Matters.
Military Matters. Okay. Well, we're going up to have lunch, and then we'll be back to continue our exciting game. And this village is about 4 or 5 feet away yet. Well, here we are. My Egyptian troops are ready to hold off Fuzzy Wuzzies. And Mike, do you think I'll hold out?
Maybe.
So they're going in.
I say, hasn't been.
What would you like to say?
I say, you won't be around long, I'm afraid. These Fuzzy Wuzzies fight much better than you do, and there's more of them.
And more of them.
Yeah.
All right, and Walt is working diligently on the combat charts. Breaking into the action. It's really exciting now.
Should be another
Kevin's cavalry has been ambushed
random roll.
by Mahdi spearmen.
4.
They're attacking his line. My Egyptians and Sudanese troops are trying to hold off a lot of Fuzzy Wuzzies. Now Kevin's artillery is still firing and doing damage to Walt's dervishes in the mountain. And Mike Kennedy's L-shaped formation is doing fantastic. And in the back line, my Egyptian troops they've cleared everything as the rear guard action. And we are doing fantastic. So from this point of view, all we need to do is break through here and get to the village, and we win the game. So that's where we're at. All right, we're breaking into the action here. Believe it or not, Kevin held off the Mahdi's troops. The dervishes have been falling back. Kevin, with his superior cavalry, drove them back. And then my Sudanese troops lost 2 figures, but I was on the high ground, and I drove back all these Fuzzy Wuzzies with just 7 figures. We lost a couple, but they've been driven back. And I really think Mike Kennedy's main line here is just a couple feet away. And Mike, coming to you, what do you think our outlook is for winning this game and getting to the village?
If the drums keep beating, great. If the drums stop, we're doomed.
Gosh, that sure is positive. Kevin, do you second in command Colonel Handsome? Do you have anything you'd like to add before we?
No, I think the Gene Krupa rule does apply. If the drums stop, we're in trouble.
All right, and
I
of
think we should
course
make our own drum.
the Mahdi commander, ever kind and caring, GM Walt is drawing the cards. So we will continue. All right, everyone, we've broken in because Kevin's Gatling gun is getting ready. Mike is going over the rules. The first time we've used the Gatling gun.
What's the number?
5. I'll say 5.
Kevin's
Don't
going a
roll
burst of
five.
five.
Shut
A
up.
burst of 5.
I rolled a 6.
So
Six
that is
men are
6
firing.
men, equivalent of 6 men firing.
So the Gatling gun is fired, and he did not jam.
I have no idea.
And his target is here.
15, call it.
Because it's on the small
So,
arms table.
very exciting. We fired our first Gatling gun. This is Gigi the Gatling gun, as seen
Small.
at the Maryland
That's
Veterans
considered long
Museum.
range.
Right.
All right, breaking into the action, and we're resolving casualties from Gigi the Gatling gun. All right, breaking into the action. I am still holding this hill.
3/4 of
It's
the
quite
body.
amazing. I'm down to 2 figures, but I've been holding off Walt for over an hour now on this ridge with just a handful of Sudanese troops.
Split these up into
It's
6
it's
decks.
incredible.
Each one had a start cord.
So
Each one of them had 1 or 2
our
decks
action
on it.
is continuing,
And then the rest of them-
and as you can see,
I don't think-
we are getting closer and closer
Well, let's shuffle, then you shuffle.
to the
And I
village.
figured, well, so there's
And
somebody-
this has just been a fantastic game.
if there's
And we still have a couple more hours to play, and Mike's brigade is really doing well.
The game
But
breaks
I haven't-
So-
Jets favor once don't
I haven't seen one of them.
And our Mahdi commander Walt is still, he's amazed of how determined the British and Egyptian army is today.
He is.
He is. The cow! My Sudanese troops have been holding Walt off 2 figures, and we are still here. Another turn, and the melee goes on. Walt failed to kill 2 figures, and I think he has around 30 dervish or fuzzy wuzzies here. I'm holding the ridge. Walt, anything you'd like to say why you can't drive me off this ridge?
Well, you know, there's still a chance you might be able to win this, Bill. There's still a chance.
Well, I think it's been a glorious action for my Egyptian troops. I've held you off here. I think we've been here about 3 hours holding this ridge, and you've yet to drive me off. It's quite amazing. Quite amazing indeed. And Kevin, we have to do a shout out. Kevin is literally inches away from capturing the town. And Mike has formed his line out, and he is putting heavy fire on the Mahdi troops.
Have you done your shooting yet?
No, we have not.
Now.
Well, sadly, my last 2 Sudanese
Well,
Egyptian troops
here's what it
were
says, winning,
eliminated.
cut down.
Walt has finally taken the
You have an
ridge,
option of either continuing to attack,
and we are now determining
Or,
if the Fuzzy Wuzzies
uh,
will go across
or you
over the
continue to
ridge
fight.
You can just
and
continue
attack
to
these
attack.
units. So that's where we're at. But
You don't
Walt
have to
was
attack.
victorious. He has finally driven me off.
Continue to attack.
And I held this ridge with this a skirmish
Those are the
line
options here
for
on
probably
the
2.5, 3 hours.
So I roll. Well, I guess I roll reaction to the to the battle.
So Walt is now doing a reaction test, and what happens? Do they run away, Walt?
No,
No, they
they
can't
they
run.
decide they're going to continue the attack.
They're going to continue
so-
to attack.
So their next turn they'll attack.
I think we're gonna make
Well,
it-
welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We're breaking into the action again.
The wheels coming off.
Now, what about
My
those?
Egyptian
They're
troops are
up
holding the
ridge.
ridge, but I am being
Serious.
pressed heavily
Well, you
by
attack.
Walt's
They don't have to take a
Fuzzy
a
Wuzzies
test.
on one group and the Dervish
You
on
can
the
either
other.
shoot 'em to death or you can-
It's
I
it might be a
shoot them
little.
if they just
If I don't
decide,
roll
"Oh, I'm
good,
gonna
I
do
might
it and
lose
stay."
this battle.
What is it?
Um,
what loss is it
General
for you
Mike
not to
pulled a
stay
card
with?
for
I mean,
heat exhaustion for his
I mean,
leader.
you literally have
and
to
his
drive 'em
brigade-
off the hill.
Has frozen for the turn.
would
Company A of the
He covered.
Egyptians are about ready to take that building.
Yeah, but they've got
And
a target
Kevin's
they're shooting. If
cavalry,
you had anybody
Colonel
shooting
Handsome,
right
is
now,
actually
I could roll and see
in
what they could do to
the
bring
village
fire.
and about to take the mosque.
Alright,
Now on the other side, the Gatling Gun Naval Brigade
So you're
are
gonna move them up
advancing
the
gallantly,
I'm just moving
and
them
so
up now.
far
This
we
time,
are
Scotty's next turn.
really
Yeah.
doing well. And to Jim O'Neill in Scotland, who follows my channel, the Mad Bagpiper is about ready to get on the balcony of the mosque and play some Scottish tunes with the bagpipes. So, and Kevin, what is the name of that bagpipe player?
Haggis McHaggis?
Is that what? And he's the mad bagpiper.
The Mad Piper of Aberdeen.
All right, Jim O'Neill, you over in Scotland. I hope you enjoyed that. Kevin's Scottish accent. Well, I've broke into the action. Walt's starting to roll hot, and I am not rolling well. My Egyptians are starting to fall apart. Walt just rolled really well, killed off half of my one company. I'm now surrounded by fuzzy wuzzies, and he rolled a counterattack charge, so he's continuing the melee. I will not be able to fire, and the next melee he will be able to double damage. And unfortunately, I think this will be it for that Egyptian unit.
12 and a half, I said 12
Now, coming around to the rest of the battlefield, we have occupied the town. I have a company for my Egyptians now in the village. Kevin, we need to get a picture of the Mad Piper. So all my viewers in Scotland, just so you know, the Highlanders are in the mosque, and the Mad Piper is at the balcony plain. Now, cruising along, Mike Kennedy still firing, and
12 and a half.
My 2 hits are
they are working out their orders of fire.
Why are you?
And we'll come back to the action. But right now, Walt's crushing my Egyptian troops on the right flank.
I think it's a 5, Kev.
Aberdeen Piper talk.
So Kevin, we came over for the other direction on our video to show the Highlanders have taken the mosque. And there is, Kevin, what's this guy's name?
Who? Haggis McHaggis, the Mad Piper of Aberdeen?
Yes, that one.
He's famous throughout the land.
This is his second battle, correct?
Aye.
All right. Well, I hope everyone's enjoying our humor in today's game.
I'm not.
Walt's having a rough time as the GM and fighting gallantly with his Mahdi troops. Well, the guys are deciding out the fire factors at Mike's battle. I wanted to break in and let you know that Walt's kicking my butt now. My Egyptians are down to 1 leader and 1 private.
Defeatist.
Defeatist. Kevin, I have 1 figure left. How am I that's a defeatist?
There's still a chance.
A chance of what?
If you tie him, he loses.
Okay, so my 1 figure, I'm going to have 2 figures in combat. He'll have, 8?
Nope.
No.
And
3 dead there.
Okay.
so there we are, everyone. And Mr. Mike Kennedy is driving gallantly forward.
Yeah.
And we'll come back to the action in a little bit. Well, breaking into the action, the fuzzies have overrun me. I am wiped out there. My leader is running down the road, and see what happens next. It's looking bleak. We have fuzzy wuzzies attacking the rear of our columns now, but we are looking to get to the oasis for another victory point.
So they have to take a test,
So
right?
let's see what happens. Continue watching the exciting battle of Sands of Sudan. All right, we have completed our game, and we'll go left to right. Kevin, what do you have to say about today's game, and who won?
We did. The British did.
All right.
Imperials.
Imperials.
And I
should say.
believe you used Gigi the Gatling gun today.
I did. Gigi did well. Gigi
All right.
did well.
Anything else you'd like to say? And you do have a following in Scotland.
Oh my! Well, the Mad Piper's taking up quarters in the big town. The big
All right,
village.
I'll hit that last. We're going to go to our commanding officer of the British Army. Mr. Kennedy, what did you think?
I'm very glad the drums did not stop. We did quite well with that caveat. We were able to actually take possession of the oasis. We started with possession of the outlying village, and we've got the main objective.
All right.
We've taken up quarters. We're stopping the noonday cries from the locals. So absolutely no reserves, reinforcements coming on.
Yes, and the Mad Piper is in the mosque. Now we're going to go to our Mahdi player, who may or may not want to be interviewed in today's interview time. Mr. Waugh, would you like to have any comments about your Mahdi troops?
Yeah, Kevin doctored the deck. I let him shuffle it. I let him cut it, and he
Grumpy
took all the drum. He put all the drum cards on the bottom. So we played through 24 turns. We got one drum card came up, and my understanding is not till that other drum card comes up do you start bringing everybody back on the table again. So pretty frustrating.
All right, and Mike or Kevin, can you grab the rules and hold them up for me with what we were playing again today? Sands of the Sudan. And Mike, we know we can now purchase it somewhere.
Somewhere.
All right. And everyone, thank you for watching. We've been playing this since I think 10 a.m. until almost 4:30. And we've had a great time. And
Not always.
all right, Walt didn't have a great time, but we did. And my Egyptian troops are sleeping in nice hotel accommodations. Stay safe, everyone. Be kind, be courteous. Don't forget to subscribe. And thank you again for watching.